I'm going to be opening some packs of Magic the Gathering cards. Specifically, I'm going to be opening collector boosters of the brand new Bloomburrow set. Bloomburrow. This is a set I've really been looking forward to ever since I first heard about it, which I think was actually on one of my live streams. I think a viewer mentioned it, and it got me really excited because this set is all about little anthropomorphic magical woodland animals, and that immediately makes me think of Redwall, which was a series of youth novels that I loved when I was younger. And in fact, if you look back, way back in this channel's videos, you will find a handful of videos, maybe like a dozen or so, where I started reading one of the books in that series, way back, like near when I started this channel. So it's a very beloved, book series to me. And now this MTG set is not like licensed Redwall, but it might as well be from everything I've seen. It is very much in that vein. Other, literary properties you might be familiar with that are in the same vein are things like Wind in the Willows, Watership Down to a degree, even like Peter Rabbit and that kind of stuff. It's that idea, the idea of magical woodland creatures going on adventures and things like that. And so this set just came out this week, and it just so happens that our channel supporters, our dear patrons and YouTube members, voted for this pack opening as the supporters' choice video for July, technically. Although I know you're seeing this in August, but technically that was the July vote. The video's just coming a wee bit late, as it sometimes does. But a big thank you to our amazing channel supporters on those platforms. And a big thank you to those in the Fusro and Fusro Da tiers who voted for this topic. And I will say it came in at a tie with another possibility, which was a look at some vintage D&D stuff that I found at the thrift store recently. So there's a decent chance that video will turn up in the future as well. But I chose to do this one. I was the tiebreaker because it was quite timely. This set, like I said, just came out. So, I've got 4 collector boosters here. Now, collector boosters are pretty fancy. They are stuffed full of rare cards and mythic rares and lots of foil cards and fun alternate art type cards and things like that. So each one of these should be really fun to look at. They're also pretty expensive. I was shocked. I was like, oh man, I haven't bought a collector booster for a while. These things are like $30 a piece, Canadian, but still, that's a lot for cardboard. But like I said, they are full of rare cards. So, and I should make it clear before we dive in here, I don't really play, well, not really, I don't at all play Magic the Gathering these days. It's been a long time since I played a game. And so, in terms of mechanics and balance and whatnot, I don't really follow what's, the meta these days. I also am not even really sure what the rare pulls in this set are. I just consider myself an aesthetic MTG enjoyer. I like the cards for the art and the flavor, and the art for this set looks phenomenal. So I'm just looking forward to opening these and seeing what kind of beautiful stuff is inside, and I hope you enjoy coming along for the ride. If we happen to find something really fun, or if you see something in here that you know is a super rare or interesting pull, please feel free to let me know down in the comments, because I might not recognize it as such. So I have these 4 packs. I do not know if we're going to get through all of them. I strongly suspect we won't. If you're the kind of person that just wants to see someone ripping open packs, this is not the video for you. I like to take my time on each of these packs. I like to pore over the art and read all the text and just enjoy the aesthetics of each and every card. So it can take quite a while even to just get through one of these packs. I would guess we will get through 2 or maybe 3 of them in this video. But the point is to just relax, enjoy the nice sounds, the gentle crinkling, the card shuffling, and of course the beautiful cards themselves. So, the collector boosters come with 15 cards, of which I think like 5 or 6 are guaranteed to be rare or mythic rares. Then there's another 4 or 5 uncommons and 4 or 5 commons, which is a much more favorable distribution than in the play boosters, what they used to call draft boosters, which are designed more for for drafting, for playing with, rather than for collectors, like the collector booster. On the front, we have some fun artwork. We've got a raccoon, a frog, like a lily pad, and some moss, some mushrooms. I just adore the vibes of this set. The card, or the packaging itself, is kind of like a holographic foil. Very shiny and colorful. So let's move these aside. Just for now. And we'll focus on this one. I'm going to cut it open like this. I'll be very careful not to cut any cards, don't you worry. But it's much quieter to do it this way than to actually tear it open. There we go. Alright, so our first card is a foil food token. A food token. One of the most memorable parts of the Redwall books was their incredible descriptions of food. The author, Brian Jakes, just loved to go on and on about incredible feasts and all the amazing things these woodland creatures would cook and eat. And so it somehow seems very fitting that we have a food token. This is, of course, a foil food token with all kinds of delectable dishes on it. What have we got? It looks like like berries in some kind of bowl over here, maybe like a porridge with berries on it. Here is maybe some tarts, like apple tarts, perhaps. Some kind of drink with a dandelion in it. Makes me think of in Redwall, they used to have dandelion and burdock cordial that they would drink. It was described as being fizzy. Some strawberries back here. Very pretty. And the food token says here you can pay 2 and tap it and sacrifice it to gain 3 life. You can see the set symbol is a little maple leaf. Little maple leaf. Oh, we missed one. Why don't we? So it looks like we're starting at the most exciting end of things here with the rares and the mythic rares. This one here is a planeswalker. Now, I think I read that what they have done with this set is they have a certain subset of cards that are like reimaginings of planeswalkers from the larger Magic the Gathering mythos, but reimagined as if they were woodland creatures in this setting, because there are no humans on the plane of Bloomburrow. And so I think this is one of those cards. Narset, Parter of Veils. Not actually familiar with Narset as a planeswalker, but I think that's the case. I mean, it does say right here, legendary planeswalker, Narset, and it's a planeswalker card very clearly. 3 mana, blue, 2 islands and a colorless. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Yeah, that is a very blue-flavored card for sure, but even just this top ability here, restricting opponents to drawing only a single card per turn, that could be brutal in and of itself. It seems to me, anyway. That seems like a pretty powerful control effect. As you can see, Narset has been reimagined as a bird of some kind. Looks like a seabird, maybe. It's hard to tell, but and this is of course a foil version of this card as well. Yeah, it says here, right down here, Imagine Critters. So that's the series I was mentioning, the sort of subset of cards that reimagines these planeswalkers as critters on this plane. Very neat. And a gorgeous card. This is also clearly a full art, borderless card. No border to be seen. The art extends all the way across the face of the card. Just gorgeous. And we did get a peek at what was under that as well, but you know, I think we should start from the other end, because I think it's a little more fun to build up to the really, rare stuff. So let's start at this side of things. I imagine we'll start with the commons. We will get back to the fancy stuff, I promise. I promise. Here we have a roughshod duo. A 2-mana red mouse and raccoon creature duo, I guess. I love the art. This brave little mouse warrior. This raccoon with this crazy staff, or halberd, I can't quite tell. With trample. The concept of a mouse and a raccoon with trample is really, really good. Whenever you expend 4, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. You expend 4 as you spend your 4th total mana to cast spells during a turn. Right, so I guess it doesn't matter the source of that mana or what you spend it on, but once you've spent 4 mana in a turn, then that effect triggers. On guard, you inadequate excuse for a foe. Challenge the mouse. Agreed the raccoon. Is a 3/2 creature. A 3/2 creature. Honestly, seems like decent value. I don't know. 3 mana for, well, a 3/2 that could become a 4/3 with trample, I guess, if you were to use its ability on itself, or it could buff another creature. Once again, a foil. I guess I can take these other 2 off of here. And, oh, look at that, our token is double-sided. I didn't realize, but on the other side we've got a Paw Patch recruiter. A rabbit warrior. Look at that. Another token, of course. A 1/1 with trample. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, other than that creature. That's cool. And it's foil on both sides. Very fun. Let's just do that. Oops. We're going from this side. Okay, a Warden Elder. A 2 mana white rabbit cleric creature. A 2/2. With an activated ability, pay 3 colorless and a white mana, and creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. There is strength in numbers, yes. More importantly, there is joy. The rabbits definitely seem like the good guys in this setting. White is, the color in MTG that's typically aligned with things that are holy and good and orderly. And it looks like that's the color of rabbits. This set has a number of different, what they call tribes in Magic, or typals, I think is what they call them these days. But, basically sort of types of cards that synergize together based on their typing. So, there's probably lots of rabbits, and they probably synergize together well. Another foil. I feel like all these cards so far are foil. I think there's a decent chance that like most of them in the pack will be foil. Very pretty. Next up, what do we get? A water spout warden. This looks like a frog type creature. A frog soldier. 3 mana frog soldier creature, 2 colorless, and a blue. For a 3/2. It says here, whenever Water Spout Warden attacks, if another creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn, Water Spout Warden gains flying until end of turn. Yo, that's pretty fun. Although maybe not fantastic value, but a flying frog is conceptually pretty awesome. The escape route of many a birdfolk thief has been less surefire than they thought. I guess frogs can jump pretty high, right? Pretty cool art. And another foil, of course. A hidden grotto. A hidden grotto. A land. A very pretty land. Look at that artwork. I love it. I especially love it with the foil because it makes those trees iridescent. They're just glowing in the middle of this grotto. When hidden grotto enters, surveil 1, which means look at the top of your library. You may put it into your graveyard, the top card of your library, pardon me, and you may put it into your graveyard. You can tap it to add a colorless mana, or pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any specific color. Isn't that pretty? Alright, what next? Cash grab. It's kind of funny because it's not, it's cash, it's in a stash, and it's a squirrel going for an acorn. It says here, it's a 2 mana green instant. Mill 4 cards. You may put, that means mill is take 4, 4 in this case, 4 cards off the top of your deck and put them into your graveyard. You may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you control a squirrel or returned a squirrel card to your hand this way, create a food token. Okay, so the squirrels are another, tribal type in this set, and I think they kind of revolve around food. A lot of what they do is food-based. It does describe here what milling is, and what a food token is. But great art. That's awesome. Very dynamic. It looks like they're falling. So I think that's probably all our commons. I think we'll be into uncommons now. Indeed we are. A mouse soldier. A flowerfoot sword master. A single white mana creature. A 1/2. With offspring 2. I think this is a new keyword for this set. At least I don't think I've seen it before. You may pay an additional 2 colorless mana as you cast this spell, or 2 mana of any color. If you do, when this creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it. Okay, so you can make like a little baby version. That's kind of cute. And it has Valiant. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, mice you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So that's a pretty strong tribal affinity there, buffing the attacks of all your other mice. And if you have 2 of these, because of the offspring ability, you could theoretically have that trigger twice. That's pretty cool. So, but that only triggers if you target the Flowerfoot Swordmaster with a spell or ability. Lovely art once again. There's another mouse back here too, and they're jumping forth across what looks to be sunflowers. A lily pad village. Lily pad village. Another non-basic land. Tap it to add a colorless mana, or tap it to add blue mana. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell, right? So it's got some strings attached. Or pay 1 blue mana, tap it, and surveil 2. Activate only if a bird, frog, otter, or rat enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Interesting. Interesting. So this has some tribal affinities as well. And again, some beautiful art. Isn't that cute? Little structures. Looks like maybe a little market and a water wheel. Made of lily pads, or floating on lily pads anyway. A Burrowguard Mentor. Another rabbit. Oh, so maybe rabbits are white and green, like a bicolor group. A 2-mana rabbit soldier costing 1 green and 1 white mana for a star. It's got trample. Burrowguard Mentor's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. So if you have a deck that spits out lots and lots of tokens or has lots of tiny critters, this guy gets really big, really fast. On your paws. I've been fighting in these fields for more seasons than you've had hot dinners. And the foil again. I think every one of these cards looks like it's going to be foil. Or pretty close to. I guess that's what you pay for with these collector's packs. Really, really beautiful art. Looks like a windmill in the background. And all these flowers on the left side there. So pretty. Okay, I think maybe we have one more uncommon. Or we could be into rares now, I'm not sure. One more uncommon. A Hive Spine Wolverine. A Hive Spine Wolverine. So, not all the creatures in the plane of Bloomburrow are friendly. Some are good, some are bad, and I'm guessing that this Wolverine is bad just based on the card art. The Hive Spine Wolverine is a 5-mana, 5/4 elemental Wolverine creature in green. When Hive Spine Wolverine enters, choose 1. Either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, or Hive Spine Wolverine fights target creature token. Interesting. Or destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's great utility right there. It's costly though, it's 5 mana for a 5/4. But it has some decent utility for sure. And the art is kind of scary. I guess the hive spine part, it looks like this Wolverine hangs out with wasps, maybe. Looks like there's lots of scary wasps coming down to sting these mice. Is that a hedgehog there, maybe? And, you know, as human being-sized creatures, we find wasps and stuff scary enough. Imagine if you were the size of a mouse. The wasp was gigantic compared to you. Not to mention the Wolverine itself, which would be just a towering behemoth. That's one thing I like about the setting here, is they've chosen to keep the creature proportions, true to life. So mice are tiny, Wolverines are big, etc. Rather than all being like human-sized or something. Oh, look at that. We've got a full art mountain card. I believe the lands in this set come in different seasonal flavors. So there's a land of each type for each season. This looks like it could be autumn, maybe. Although it's a little hard to tell because the foil, it kind of makes the colors variable. But it looks kind of autumnal to me. Very pretty mountain, though. Okay. Surely we're into rares now. There we go. The Manifold Mouse. The Manifold Mouse. A 2-mana red mouse soldier creature. A 1/2 with offspring 2. So again, pay 2 mana of any color to make a 1/1 copy of this creature when it enters. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target mouse you control gains your choice of double strike or trample until end of turn. That seems pretty decent. And of course, if you use the offspring ability, that works twice. You can buff up 2 mice. You could, of course, buff up this mouse if you wanted, or another one. Not so powerful on its own, really, but I could see it being pretty strong when you've got a bunch of other mice buffing it and vice versa. Oh wow, this is like the first thing we've got that's not a foil card. A scurry of squirrels. We've got another, well, it's not full art, but it's extended art, where we've got the art stretching across the card to both sides. Not truly borderless, though. Scurry of squirrels. That's a pretty good ASMR, trigger phrase. Scurry of squirrels. A scurry of squirrels. A scurry of squirrels. A squirrel scout. Not a girl scout, a squirrel scout creature. 3 mana, green, 2/2 creature. With myriad and myriad twice. I do not remember what the myriad keyword means. I assume it means you get a bunch of these somehow. I'll have to look that up. Whenever Scurry of Squirrels deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Yeah, I wish I remember what that keyword meant. But one can imagine, right? One can imagine it means there's lots of them somehow. Also, the art, quite reminiscent of where was it? Trying to remember where we saw it now. Cash grab. Same vibe, right? Same vibe. Falling squirrel. Acorn. I wonder if one is supposed to be a reference to the other. Fun. This is clearly not part of the standard set because it's got a different expansion symbol. It makes me wonder, this could be a card off the list as a reprint of a previous card. I'm not sure. All right. A Thunder Trap Trainer, another card that is not foil, but very pretty. This is like an alternate frame type card. You can see it's got this really gorgeous kind of flowing water-like frame with pond plants. We've got cattails and lilies, it looks like, maybe, hard to tell, around the outside. It's very pretty. The Thunder Trap Trainer is a 2-mana blue otter wizard creature, a 1/2. When this creature enters, it has offspring 4, so that's pretty costly, but you could make a copy of it for 4 mana. When this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Non-creature, non-land. Interesting. I guess you could use it to find a spell, like an instant or sorcery. Perhaps some kind of lightning spell to be flavorful. Yeah, that's cool. And of course, with the offspring ability, you could do that twice. Very neat art. I love the frame on this one. And last but not least, that one that we saw way back at the start, that we teased but didn't actually take a full look at. A mythic rare, Season of the Burrow. Season of the Burrow. A mythic rare sorcery. It's not foil, but it's got some very evocative art there. It is a 5-mana white sorcery. And it says here, choose up to 5 paws worth of modes. Okay. Interesting. So it looks like it's got 3 different things it can do, and you can do 5 paws worth of them. So that could be like the 1 paw once and the 2 paws twice, because it says you may choose the same mode more than once. Or you could do the 2 paws and the 3 paws, or you could do 3, 1, 1. Okay, so what are the options here? For 1 paw, create a 1/1 white rabbit non-land or white rabbit creature token. Pardon. Okay, so you could do that 5 times. Spit out 5 1/1 rabbit tokens. For 2 paws, you can exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. Interesting. Okay, so you could use that to get rid of something troublesome of your opponents, or you could exile something small of yours and use that for card draw. You could do that twice if you really wanted. Or for 3 paws, you can return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it. Cool. pulling stuff out of the graveyard, always fun. Making it indestructible, even more fun. Scary art. It looks like some kind of predator sticking its face down into this burrow while these creatures cower. Little mice, and a frog, and a rabbit. Like I said, very evocative. And this is a full art, borderless variant of this card, of this mythic rare. The paw mechanic is, I believe, unique to this set. I mean, it makes sense. It's very flavorful for this set. But I think that's the first time that's been done. Although, I guess it's possible that other sets have done something similar, but with different symbols or something. Well, that's a fun bunch of cards, isn't it? I really love Narset Parter of Veils here. I think that's just such a beautiful card. But Thundertrap Trainer, also very pretty. The land art is gorgeous. I like the vibes of Flowerfoot Swordmaster a lot. And the hidden grotto is so pretty. Some neat stuff. Well, I told you this would take some time. We don't move through these very quickly here. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's do one more, shall we? Let's do one more. Pack number 2. And we'll start from this side this time. So that we keep the surprise until the end. Alright. A foil intrepid rabbit. Intrepid rabbit. 3 mana, white rabbit soldier creature, a 3/2, with offspring 1. And when this creature enters, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I light the way, but we must walk it together. The rabbits seem very, like team focused, very much about grouping together, which checks out. An agate blade assassin, a lizard. This is the first lizard we've seen. 2 mana, black lizard assassin creature, a 1/3. Whenever agate blade assassin attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, so the net effect is basically kind of 3 effective damage. Does 1, then they lose 1 and you gain 1. So that's not too shabby for a 2 mana critter, especially because you notice it doesn't have to actually hit for that to trigger. It just says whenever it attacks. So even if it's blocked or something else happens, you still gain that benefit. Some lizard folk wield the precious agate and yearn for fire. Others wield it and thirst for blood. I get the sense the lizard might be a little evil. Or maybe lizards are evil in this setting, I don't know. That must be the agate blade. Very pretty. A frilled spark shooter, another lizard. This one in red, a 4 mana red lizard archer creature. menace and reach. Frilled spark shooter enters with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. You see, good synergy. Check it out, check it out. Potentially. Its frills keep it steady, making its aim impeccable. I don't know if that's what frilled lizards, like if the frills actually help them balance. I don't think so. I don't think so. Neat artwork though. Wow, we went from no lizards to 3 lizards in a row. A cindering cutthroat. This one is it's got a hybrid mana cost here, so you can pay either black or red mana alongside your 2 mana of any color. For your 3/2 lizard assassin creature, Cindering Cutthroat enters with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. Lots of synergy again. And for mana of any color and then a red or black, Cindering Cutthroat gains menace until end of turn, meaning it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. And reach over here, in case you're not familiar with the game. Reach means that it can block creatures with flying. That's because it's an archer, right? Although I'm sure if you're not familiar with this game, you probably have many more questions than that, but none of this makes sense to you. And that's fine too. You don't have to know anything about the game to appreciate the art and the lore, the incredible amount of creative talent that goes into these sets. We don't play with fire. It is strictly business, says Cindering Cutthroat. A tree guard duo. We had a duo in the other pack, right? It was a mouse and a raccoon. Here we have a frog rabbit. Not actually a hybrid creature, but a pair of creatures, a frog and a rabbit, for 4 mana. It's a green card, a 3/4. When Tree Guard Duo enters, until end of turn, target creature you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. So vigilance means attacking doesn't cause it to tap. And of course we get this straight buff to power and toughness as well. You shall not pass me, croaked the frog, nor me, growled the rabbit. I love it. I love it. A badass pair, to be sure. An imposing duo guarding the trees. On to our uncommons. Star Charter. Star Charter. Ooh, a bat cleric. I love it. A bat cleric. What a cool critter. It's got like a Luna moth in behind. That is such pretty art. Look at that. I think that's some of my favorite art we've seen so far here. A 4 mana white bat cleric creature, a 3/1 with flying naturally. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with power 3 or less from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. None too shabby. Helps you get some critters out that you might want, or at least into your hand. A little bit costly for what it is, but you can do that every turn if you've gained or lost life. Such pretty art. Oh, what's this? A class enchantment. They had these before. I want to say they're part of one of the D&D sets. But this is called Bandits Talent. Bandits Talent. A 2-mana black enchantment. Gain the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. At level 1, when Bandit's Talent enters, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. Okay. For 1 black mana, level up to level 2. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, they lose 2 life. Okay, interesting. And finally, level 3, for 3 mana of any color plus a black mana, at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or fewer cards in hand. So this punishes cards, or punishes players for having few cards in their hand, but it also forces them to discard cards. So it kind of puts them in a tough place. That's neat. And this looks like a bat in the art as well. Yeah, that's cool. Just ramp up the pressure on them. Oh, another class card. Blacksmith's Talent this time. The red version. When Blacksmith's Talent enters, equip a colorless equipment artifact token named Sword. With equipped creature gets +1/+1 and an equip cost of 2. Level 2, a little bit expensive for 3 mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach target equipment you control to up to 1 target creature you control. So that lets you equip stuff for free. I mean, it has a cost associated, but don't forget once you've unlocked it, as long as the enchantment is in play, that effect comes into effect every turn. That effect activates every turn. And at level 3, for an additional 4 mana, during your turn, equipped creatures you control have double strike and haste. Whoa, that's getting serious. Cool, so it's about making swords, equipping them on your creatures, and then buffing them up as well. Altogether, if you get this fully unlocked, and that's activating every turn, that's pretty substantial. And we have a lizard blacksmith here. Neat stuff. I think this might be our last uncommon. All of these, of course, have been foil, as you've no doubt noticed. A curious forager. A 3-mana green squirrel druid. 3/2. When Curious Forager enters, you may forage. When you do, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. To forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. So the squirrels are all about making food, generating food tokens, like stashing them away like squirrels and their nuts, and then using them for powerful effects like this. The bones of calamity beasts are sometimes buried in caches where their power can grow quietly. I don't know a lot about the story in this setting, but I guess the calamity beasts are the bad ones. Love the art, the leaves, the way they swirl, The way the squirrel's tail kind of matches that. It looks like it's foraging in this undergrowth, maybe gravesite or something. Neat. Alright. Oh, there is a land, this time a forest. And this one looks like it could be spring or summer. It's hard to tell, but we've got some flowers over here. All these mushrooms, grasses, and our wandering squirrel. These big branches far overhead. The land cards in Magic have always been some of my favorite just for their art. Beautiful art. Okay, so now we should be into our rares. The Thorn Vault Forager. Thorn Vault Forager, another foraging squirrel. 2 mana, green squirrel ranger creature, a 2/2. Tap to add 1 green mana, or tap and forage to add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Potentially quite useful. And then for 4 mana, and tap, search your library for a squirrel card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. So it's a squirrel tutor. It lets you find the squirrels you need for your combos. That's awesome. Yet more acorns. Fun art. The squirrels are very resourceful. They seem to be very much about foraging to find exactly what they need. Ooh. Hazel's Brewmaster. Hazel's Brewmaster. A squirrel warlock, and this is an extended art version. That's a spooky looking squirrel. A 4 mana black squirrel warlock creature, a 3/4 with menace. I'm certainly menaced by this critter. Whenever a Hazel's Brewmaster, enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and create a food token. Okay. Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel's Brewmaster. Sorry, excuse me, what? Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel's Brewmaster. Huh. So, you take creatures in your graveyard, you strip them of their abilities, basically, and exile them, and then your food gains those activated abilities. That's wacky. That's super wild. And it's not just one food, it's all food tokens you control have those activated abilities. So if you have a bunch of food stashed away, and you use this to suddenly give them some crazy activated ability, then you can just suddenly use that like a bunch of times, maybe. That's crazy. Do activated abilities include those that just require tapping? Or does an activated ability have to cost mana? That I'm not sure about. That seems like you could use that to set up some crazy combos. Like use your food to do some insane stuff. I love that though. That's such a weird thing. Who would ever think of that? That's pretty cool. We've got that really fun frame again. That blue, beautiful blue frame. A dour port mage. A word does the a 1/3. Whenever one or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying. So if they were exiled, for example, draw a card. Okay, so some potentially okay card draw there. And an activated ability, 2 mana, and tap, return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. I'm not quite sure exactly how you would use this effectively, like off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are ways to do so. Rations were tightly controlled from the wake of the beasts. Interesting. Yeah, not as immediately wacky or cracked as that other one, but still potentially interesting. Aww. Kidnap. Not kidnap. Well, maybe kidnap as well. Oh yeah, it is. Because it's like a little baby raccoon, but they're being grasped by some scary looking creature with spirally eyes. These little stars. Gosh, this is a real vibe. What a cool piece of art. Another extended art version. 4 mana blue enchantment. Gift a card. Huh. So, gifting, I think, is like you, in this case, I guess you give a card to an opponent. And this enchants, it's an enchant creature. When kidnap enters, tap enchanted creature. If the gift wasn't promised, put 3 stun counters on it. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. You control enchanted creature. I see, so it allows you to steal a creature, basically enchant an opponent's creature and take it from them so that you control it. By default, you have to tap that creature, so you can't use it the turn you steal it, but it will untap the next turn. But if you don't give the gift, you have the option, I guess, but if you don't give it, then that creature also has 3 stun counters on it, which I assume you take 1 off each turn. I'm not sure, but it could be a while before you can use your kidnapped creature, unless you give this gift. That seems like a high price to pay, but I guess it depends on the card you gift, right? I'm not sure where you can gift cards from either, like if they have to be in play, or if they can be from your hand, or I'm not super familiar with the gift mechanic. Sounds interesting though, and really cool art. Oh, there's our token. Oh, here we go. Fountain Port. Fountain Port. A rare land. Foil. Add colorless mana. Pay 2 and tap. And sacrifice a token to draw a card. Pay 3, tap, and pay 1 life to create a 1/1 blue fish creature token. Man, that seems very costly. Or pay 4 mana and tap to create a treasure token. Treasure tokens, I think, can maybe be sacrificed for mana. I can't remember though. There's a lot of utility in there. Some of it seems pretty costly, but it's interesting for sure. It's interesting. And this magnificent fountain, I guess, in a city. You can see there's towers down here, so this is this huge fountain. Huh. And that, of course, our token. An iridescent vine lasher, which is a lizard assassin token creature. 1/1 with landfall, which means whenever a land you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. I like the art. And on the other side, oh hey, a fish, which we could is iridescent because of the foil. Wow, so pretty. Huh. Neato. And that is that. Another pack complete. And I do think, friends, that we're going to call it there for now. Because this video is already up over an hour. And as much as I do want to see what's in those other 2 packs, I think I will save them for a rainy day. Or maybe for future streams. I do have a channel points reward on my Twitch streams. Well, they're Twitch and YouTube streams now, but the channel points are only earnable and spendable on the Twitch side of things. Where people can pay channel points to have me pull a random card out of a magic pack. And so I think it would be really fun to use one of these collector's packs for that in the future. So we will probably do that on a future stream. But hey, I hope that you enjoyed coming with me on this adventure into Bloomburrow. What a gorgeous set, such beautiful art, such, fun and cute creatures. I just love this kind of theme, and I'm gonna be hard pressed to not buy more of these because I really love these designs, these artworks, and honestly, going through these packs has really made me want to play again because it's been so long, and I think this set would be a lot of fun to play. So maybe I will. I think of all the cards we opened today, honestly, I think Narset might be my favorite. It's just such a gorgeous piece of art and such a cool card. But there really are a lot of really fun ones in here, and a lot of really beautiful ones as well. So it's really hard to decide. But Narset is definitely up there. What about you guys? What's your favorite card that we pulled here today? I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Please let me know. Well, I think that will do it for now. So, my dear friends, thank you very much again for joining me. I hope you found this interesting and fun. But above all, I hope you found it relaxing. And I look very forward to having you back here next time. Farewell for now, my friends. Remember earlier how I said that this video topic was selected by our supporters here on this channel through my Patreon and my YouTube memberships? Well, these are them right here, specifically at the Row and Row tiers. Those awesome supporters get the chance to vote in a special poll every month to select the topic of a video here on the channel. And like I said, this was tied with another option, so you'll probably be seeing that other option at some point in the future too. But big thanks to those supporters who did vote for this one, because I really enjoyed recording this video. But of course, big thanks to all the amazing supporters you see here. These fine folks allow me the freedom to create the kind of content that I love making the most, and not having to worry too much about sponsorships and all that kind of stuff, trying to please the algorithm and those sorts of things. And that means a lot to me. It really, really does. They also get some fun perks while they're at it, such as early access to my weekend videos, voting in that monthly poll, and at the highest tier, the Row tier, those amazing and generous supporters supporters get their names read in a special spoken shout out in every single one of my videos. And it is my great pleasure to read to you now the names of our Fusro tier supporters for this video, starting with Jake Luffney, Drummer Brit, Odin Son, K Time, Alien Test Subject X59ZY, Bruce Buchner, Ragnar Ragnarsson, and last but never least, Smitty. So many thanks to all these fine folks for their kindness, for their support, for being a part of what I do here on the channel, and helping me continue to create the kind of content that I really enjoy. And if you, dear viewer or listener, would like to be amongst these people, to have my eternal gratitude for your kind support, and get some of these fun perks while you're at it, well, you know you can find links down in the video description where you can find a tier that is right for you on Patreon or YouTube memberships. The same tiers, same perks in each place. So once again, a big, big thank you to all this channel's amazing supporters.